Hello, I'm Michael LeDuc, and welcome to the Red Lobster Chef's Blog.
And I'm Daryl Mickler, and we're really excited to show you some great new ideas from the world of shrimp. Now, shrimp is one of our most versatile proteins, and there's a lot of things you can do with it beyond the standard shrimp pasta, barbecued shrimp, or maybe shrimp cocktail you've been doing at home. We have some great ideas, so let's get into the kitchen.
Thanks, and what we're going to do today is we're going to take some kind of new spins on some old classics for you. Shrimp cocktails on everybody's holiday party. You always see shrimp cocktails on menus everywhere. There's a lot of ways to spice that up, a lot of ways to make that kind of cool. So in a few minutes, we're going to take you through some of that. But right now, Chef, why don't you tell us what you're going to start?
I love the flavors of Asia and Southeast Asia especially. And one thing I'm inspired by is the noodle dishes and the street corner food you see all over the area. So I thought we'd put together a simple little noodle dish, but use some ingredients you can find pretty readily in the grocery store and put together at home.
Asian ingredients lead themselves to a lot of great flavors and a lot of great combinations. So over here, we've got some spicy peanut sauce, some Thai sauce, as well as a teriyaki sauce that you'd normally associate with a grilled shrimp application, but thinned down a little. It's a great dipping sauce.
Well, I've started off here with a little bit of ginger. I think that's one of the first ingredients I'll get in my broth there. I just started off with a little vegetarian broth. I think a great way to start off. You could do a shrimp broth as well. So I'm going to start off, I've got some carrots here, some sugar snap peas. There's some vegetables I really like. Okay, a little bit of garlic, some nice fresh sliced mushrooms. I'm adding a little bit of lemongrass to this. These long stalks here, you may have seen them sometimes in some of the produce stores. And you just use this, about 25% of the stalk. Peel off these tough outer stalks, mince it up, and instead of giving a big lemon flavor, it gives it a little bit more herbaceousness, a little bit more complexity to it. So it's something a little bit different to really get that lemon flavor that we know goes so well with seafood.
Note that Chef is adding these raw, so these are going in, they haven't been blanched, you don't have to stir fry them, you don't have to spend a lot of time with them. This is just about getting some great fresh vegetables into a nice broth. And this is actually an extremely healthy dish. I mean, you just have some natural broth in there. If you're gonna buy the broth in the store, you go with a low sodium broth, kind of bring that salt content down a little, and just really rely on the natural flavors of all the vegetables and the seafood that Chef's putting in there now. This is a sort of a Cajun remoulade. You see this in a lot of restaurants. Sort of comes from the Gulf Coast. The mayonnaise is kind of sweet and it's going to soak up some of that heat, but it's going to add a lot of those great Cajun flavors to your dish. Great with crab cakes, great with stone crab claws, and great with shrimp cocktails. So this is another great way to add a little spice to that dish.
So we can see the shrimp I've just put in there. They've started to pink up a little bit. That tells you they're getting cooked. They've started to kind of pull together, tighten up. Right. They've gotten less translucent.
What's happening here is all the flavors from all those vegetables are melding together. So it's that whole one pot cooking, that whole melding of the flavors. And what this is gonna produce is one big, vibrant, fresh flavor. Another great dipping sauce we have here is this one's kind of inspired from my childhood. It's a dried cherry and maple glaze. So in this sauce, there's some maple syrup, some dried cherries, and a little bit of soy sauce. So you get a little bit of sweet and a little bit of savory at the same time. So this kind of give you that real kind of fall sort of flavor. And then for sort of a tour around the Mediterranean, this is a green olive and olive oil kind of salsa mixed together with some tomatillo. Or you can also take some smaller shrimp, make a shrimp salsa, and that adds sort of this fresh seafood flair to your nachos or your seafood bar. So I think you see what we've done is we've kind of taken some really cool little flavors, added them to that shrimp cocktail, and what it does is it makes your party kind of unique and this whole international flair going on with your shrimp cocktail.
You really taste your way around the world with the different shrimp items.
Absolutely.
So. Well, I think that's about ready to go. I like to garnish it with just a little fresh cilantro. I chopped some cilantro and put it in there too, but I think it makes for a nice Asian feel to it. And just a squeeze of lime, I think really completes the dish.
When you have your cocktail party, if you want to sort of end it off with your guests on something cool, this is sort of the ultimate shrimp cocktail. So this is a fresh Bloody Mary mix on the bottom we made with some fresh tomatoes, some fresh horseradish, and put a little fennel in there to add a little sweetness to it. Put the chilled shrimp in, and you can add a little bit of vodka, whatever you want to it, and you and your friends end it up with the shrimp cocktail. So Chef, it's been great cooking you. Here's to shrimp.